All right, guys, welcome to our call. If you have team members that you don't see on here live, give them a quick shout out, make sure they don't miss out. I know we'll have more people hopping on here. Laura, we changed our time. It used to be 8 p.m. Eastern and we switched it to 7. And now that summer's here, I think people get going with their evening and it's like, it's 7 o'clock. So we're recording it. It'll go into our business page as well. But I am so excited to share my dear friend with you tonight, Laura Stevens. And I don't even remember when the first moment was that I met her and talked to her, but I do remember clearly doing a Super Saturday training with her several years in. I had already really grown to respect her. I watched her success pretty quickly. She had some really great momentum and success going on. And I watched what she did on social media and I was in awe of that. I watched what she did in when it came to recognizing her team and really just felt so connected to her because recognizing my team is very important to me as well. And she loves her team as I love you guys. And we just became instant friends. We did an event together. I think it was in Atlanta. And then since then, at every event, we get an opportunity to chat. We try to catch up on everything. And watching her with her 5 babies is it's absolutely so much fun for me because I built my last business while I had little children and I know how challenging it is. So I'm just so grateful that she is here giving up 30 minutes for you guys tonight to pour into you because I know what a busy mama of 5 she is while she's a very successful entrepreneur and business owner with Isagenix. So Laura, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for the sweet welcomes. And thank you, Cindy. She has shown up for me and just been the kindest, just most consistent, and just warm leader since I've started. Kind of like the big sister I always wanted in a good way. So you guys are so lucky to be led by her, but you know that. So
Oh, well, thank you so much. And we're going to utilize Laura first in the call tonight. And then at the end, guys, stay on because I want to do some recognition with you and a few announcements. But I want to hop right to it. I know we have some new people that are on tonight and also will be watching the recording that haven't heard your story, Laura. So would you share with everyone how you got started, your introduction to Isagenix, and a little bit about your story before I start asking you a lot of questions here?
yes, yes. I was actually introduced to Isagenix about 13 years ago. I was actually here in Spokane at a Memorial Day barbecue, and my friend Kelly came to me and said, "Laura, you need to cleanse with me. We're gonna have energy." And I said, "No," and I picked up quickly it was network marketing, and I was like, "Absolutely not." I was a military spouse with a 2 and a 1-year-old at the time, and really was surrounded by a lot of people who did network marketing on a very just kind of small direct sales scale. And I would always go to the parties and I would always support people, but it was not something I ever wanted to get into myself per se. I also have celiac disease, so I eat completely gluten free, and I'm like, I have my gluten free smoothies, fine, they're fine. I don't need any help with my nutrition. And so I brushed her off and I said, go talk to John because he always had to keep weight for the military and he would lift and get too heavy and all these things. So he was like, I'm doing the caveman diet or something at the time, and kind of brushed her off too. His Costco protein was fine. So we watched Kelly and her husband Tyler, who were some of our dear friends when we lived here the first time, just explode in this business. Kelly went for it. And what I love about thinking back on her story is that she really was the fire starter in her network. She dealt with a lot of people that were skeptics, a lot of no's, a lot of rejection, tons and tons and tons of rejection. And I think at a time when network marketing wasn't super popular and she was just on fire. And that really inspired me. And I watched her and was always positive, to her. I actually referred a couple people to her in the journey, but waited 3 years and just watched through social media. And I got to visit her a few times in person. Um, and then I just got to a place of John was getting ready to deploy. I had a 3, 2, and 1-year old. And we had some debt that we could not get to go away. And I was actually researching other jobs, what to do, work from home. I thought about being a waitress, a bartender. I was in the process of getting my master's to become a high school health teacher and volleyball coach, but I could not leave my kids. I'd have to pay to leave them and then pay for schooling, and that was not helping our financial goals. So all roads kept leading back to Isagenix. I actually almost joined another network marketing company, but it didn't feel right. And so I called Kelly one day and just kind of said, whatever you're doing, I want to do it. I had some weight to lose after my third baby. I was feeling just very tired and not like myself, and I needed extra money. And so I think her jaw hit the floor because I'd never given her any indication over those 3 years that I'd be interested in the business, and was one of the people that definitely started for the business. I remember getting my first box and I'm like, I don't really care if I like it. I'm going to like this because I so desperately wanted to feel better. And I had seen all of our posts over the years. And I also respected Kelly and Tyler and just their outlook on nutrition and health. So I knew they weren't going to put something in their body that wasn't great. So there was already that rapport there. But I joined them, and that was March 28th of 2014. So it's just been about 10 years for me, and just jumped in with everything I had. I needed to change so badly. And I went to my very first event as a manager, crystal manager. I went up to an Isagenix University in Seattle and left that event, and immediately was director and executive in just like I don't know, very short amount of time, and just went from there. The event set everything on fire for me. Seeing people walk across the stage, all demographics, all ages, all genders, all shape, sizes, all of it. It was so inspiring to see all these different types of people that were Isagenix millionaires at the time, legacy members now. And I learned the comp plan a little bit more at that event, and just went home, and I'm like, all those bonuses, any trip, any incentive that was out there, I was going to do it for my family. So,
That's so great. And this is not a question I was going to ask you this early, but I'm going to.
yeah.
What makes you any different from anyone else that goes to a conference as a manager, wants to be an executive, and you went home and did it? What advice could you give to someone who doesn't want to go to celebration at the level they're at now, that would really, really love to do what you did, get fired up, but then do the action steps necessary to get there?
Yeah, so I think I looked into the money that I was spending to become a high school teacher, for instance, and it was a huge investment. And when I looked at the investment of going to ICU, it was so small in comparison to the amount of time, and seeing what could be made in the compensation plan. It was very easy to invest, knowing kind of a little bit what was out there. But I think what people don't realize in the power of events is, Kelly and I are not the same person at all. Like, we don't always see eye to eye. We do things business very differently. But so it was two different voices, two different personalities. And so there would be speakers I would learn from, and there'd be speakers she would learn from. And the ways she could have said something to me 5 times, but hearing it in a different way just clicked in my brain. And I think making the personal commitment to go to an event like that, you almost think, I sacrificed this time and this money away from my family. I better come home and do something about it. And so I also took a lot of time on the airplane, in the hotel. I had never really been alone. So I took a lot of time to work on the pockets, and really said, this weekend is not about fun. This weekend is not about Laura being rested. This weekend is about Laura furthering her dreams and her goals. So I soaked every second I had while I was gone, and like just took everything in. So if you have any inclination of wanting to build this business, and truly it's building a business, you can share products, that's different, but I know you're all on this call to build a business. So if you really want to build a business, you have to go to these events. You have to be plugged in, be there in person, make those sacrifices, not only for yourself to prove to yourself how important this is to you, but to fill your mind and your heart with what you need to be successful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my first question, I totally, that one just came to me, but my first question is, how do you juggle it all with 5 kids and school? And then I watch you doing competitive dance with your
Yeah.
daughter, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, you have to travel to all of those. It's a lot
Mhm.
on top of being a business owner, because that's what you are, and a leader to your team. How are you able to juggle it all?
Yeah. So I think it's a dance for sure. And there's been seasons I've thrived, and there's been seasons I failed, if I'm quite honest. But what I can tell you is the work that I put in, the 3 years of hard, consistent work that I put in at the beginning, set the most incredible base for my business in ways that I could never, like, I'm so grateful for it. It's priceless to me. when they were little, they were 3, 2, and 1, and I only had 3 kids versus 5. Although John was gone and he's more present in our life now, so I do have a helper. But I really poured myself into being a network marketing professional and really understanding what that meant. And it's almost like once I got that base and that foundation down, I don't think people do it long enough to set the stage, to set that foundation so that when you do have the busier seasons or when you do need to kind of be more present at home or whatever, you can, because things have been, you put so much time and effort to get the ball rolling. You set the vision that if you're not there showing up as much a certain week or whatever, it's okay. We've also leaned into cross line community. We have a lot of people in Kelly's downline who collaborate together, and that's been nice. And helpful because we juggle the calls where I'll only take 1 or 2 calls a month and they, fill in the other gap. So that's been helpful. Um, but I also realize if we think about it, we have a lot of time during the day. I know people hate I heard somebody lately who said they hate the phrase, if you poop, you compost, but
Mm.
it's kind of true. Like, I think that we need and must show consistency in our business. And I don't care if it's you flash a quick picture of your shake in the morning. I know you want it to be fancier. I know you want it to be curated beautifully, or you see these people with creative reels and you're like, I can never do that. If you even just do that, you're forecasting to at least a part of your audience that you're using Isagenix products still. Every cheer trip, I have products with me in my purse. I mean, I get a lot of questions from people. How can you do this with it? And that just spurs conversation on its own. But I really try hard to befriend every single person in my life. I still use a lot of social media tactics. And I was actually talking to a business professional this morning who's going to show me some non-social media tactics that I can start kind of implementing more because that's kind of all I've relied on. And I would like to pivot or have options. So that I'm going to say I'm not strong in other ways, but I will meet a cheer mom and I'm sitting next to her. We're watching our girls and I'll find a commonality. I am generally a networker by nature. I really like to find out about people. I love to compliment people. Um, and so I'll connect with her and just become friends and maybe take a picture of her daughter with mine or a video or whatever and be like, let me send it to you. Are you on social media? I find some of those easy ways to connect through social media. But I integrate my business in all that I do. So there is never a day I don't touch it, whether it's drinking it. Obviously, I consume it every day, but I'll even drink it in public, or John will take it to work. He's a PE teacher right now at our kids' school, so we'll have it there. I'll send a bar with my girls to cheer, or just I post on social. So it's really like a full-on lifestyle. And I think if you can commit to a good 2 to 3 years, it can become that for you too. But you just really have to make that commitment.
Yeah, yeah. So what are your daily non-negotiables? Because you are out and about a lot. And I said dance and I meant cheer. So let me
Oh no,
correct
it's okay.
myself
I know what
there.
you mean.
But I love watching the videos. I watch all of them.
Aw.
What are your daily non-negotiables? Because even if you're traveling, for that and for all the other things that you guys do and all the activities the kids are in, you're on social media all the time. What are those things that no matter what, no matter where you are the things you would do every day when you're touching your business?
I document my life, and most days you'll see me say at least one thing about Isagenix. It will literally be woven through every single one of my stories because what you have to remember, I mean, every day, like at least one part of one of my stories, you think people see what you're posting and sharing a lot, and they don't. Like, there's things that with algorithms, with people getting busy, sometimes you don't always you're not always present on social media. And so that you can miss things. Think about your network and your audience. It's the same for them. So that's one thing is I literally, there's been very few days in my life I haven't posted on social media. But what I do is I take video and photos at times where in the moment, like I really try hard to be in the moment with my kids. So last night we had a big rainstorm. We were gardening outside and it started pouring and the kids were pulling up these trees, like John and Miller were pulling up these trees with our neighbor and stuff. I filmed all of that and didn't post it until later, like until I had a second when we were inside and dry and they were watching a show before bed or something. So I will take content on my phone and like batch content and then post when I have time. So that allows me to be present in my life, and to be sometimes, yes, behind a lens, but I'll often even, I've kind of trained myself now to hold my phone down and to be able to watch and just kind of film, but just still be watching, especially like when my daughters are performing or something, I can still smile at them and cheer and still be filming. Um, that one thing that we've been doing every morning that has been a game changer for us, I think so often in Isagenix, we take for granted the fact that we have the best health and wellness products on the planet, but we don't always implement the best health and wellness patterns of our life. And I was waking up and getting on my phone, and I didn't want to be doing that anymore. I was going to sleep on with my phone, like laying in bed looking at my phone. So I actually plug my phone in my office now, which is here, like in my bedroom's room back. So I don't have my phone near me. John keeps his near us in case anybody needs to get a hold of us. But one that's allowed my brain to shut off. I mean, we've heard the things about Wi-Fi next to our head. It's not good anyway. And I realized with all I'm juggling in my life, I need to be mentally clear and sound and focused. So if that's one thing I've given myself permission to not to be so addicted to right when I wake up and right before I go to sleep so I can sleep more soundly. I also have been walking every morning with John. Every morning I'm home here in Spokane before we eat or anything. We at least take the dogs for a 15-minute walk, phone free, music free, podcast free, just the two of us. And that's been really healing for our marriage and helpful. Again, I feel like health and wellness, especially as a leader, you are an example. You have to give, you have to lead, you have to stay motivated. If you aren't caring for you, and there's been seasons I haven't been, and I have very little left to give. And that's often when I don't show up as well as I should as a leader or as an example. So I realize that starting my day that way often lets me talk through. I'm a verbal processor, so I'll share some things with John. We'll talk through some things, talk through some ideas, or even just connect or talk about our day and our schedule. But it just allows me to set a tone for the day. And then I come right home. I brewed my Isagenix coffee before I left. I come right back home. I have my shake before my coffee for hormone health. And it's good. So just those little things again, like you think they're little, but they have made big impacts in my life. And it's something that it's all those little things that add up to helping you be successful, to helping you walk the walk and talk the talk when it comes to living out a health and wellness business.
Yeah. And you just mentioned the word for the next question I have. What do you do to keep yourself positive and motivated? Because I know certainly these last few years have been, woo, something else, coming off of COVID and trying to get back into the event culture again with our teams and getting everybody to live events again. So when you're not feeling motivated, what do you do?
I do a couple different things. I am just like everyone. My business has had ebbs and flows, and it's hard. And it's hard in that I'm the main breadwinner right now. So we have felt it from our family. But I remember there was a time that John looked at me and was like, when are you going to enjoy your business? Because I was working so much. So I am happier with the balance that I have right now. And I think that's where everyone needs to if you are complaining about where your business is, then that's on you and you need to look at what you're doing. But if you are complaining because you're comparing or you think you're letting kind of ego get in the way or you think you should be where you are, you just need to be honest with yourself. And I think for me, it's taken seasons of being honest with myself. But I love, when I can, getting on the United Leaders call Monday mornings is so helpful. Listening to podcasts. Honestly, the most impactful thing sometimes is doing my recognition and having some of my leaders write back and saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I made the list," or "That was so nice." Like it spurred them on to hear them talk about Isagenix. A lot of my leaders have been doing this with me between 8 to 10 years now. And we have some new ones coming in, of course, but if I really am down, one of my favorite things to do is to text my team and any product users I have even and just say, what's one thing that has changed in your life because of Isagenix? And then I just get that feedback. And sometimes I'll share it on a story, or sometimes I'll just let it settle in my heart and realize the only way to really be successful in this business is to bless others and to help others. And so when it kind of comes away, when we get frustrated, is often because yes, we're frustrated for our teams, but sometimes it's a lot about ourself and our self result, like my personal results and where's my income and blah, 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 instead of being like, okay, how can I help more people? And when you keep that focus outward, and I'm preaching to the choir because I'm not always the greatest at this, but when I get back into that healthier place, that's when the good momentum can come. And I feel like energetically, people watching me, people talking to me, my leaders, they all feel it.
Yeah, it's so contagious. Absolutely. All right. So share with us what is working for your team right now. What of all the things, because I know you're guys, if you use the happy mix, put a one in the comments, because Laura was the brainchild behind the happy mix. And I know a lot of our team, probably most of our team, is utilizing it. So, what is working for your team? Because you're one of those people, if it's broken, you'll fix it. If it's not, like you're always just you're super creative coming up with new things. So tell us a little bit about what is working.
Definitely starting the conversation about mental wellness. That's kind of that's the term we've coined. And Kathy Savage actually coined that. And I love it. Because I feel like mental wellness, we can't promise mental health. It's such a bigger umbrella, but there are proven things that we can do to help our mental wellness. And so getting that conversation just going and changing things up a little bit. I think what's been working for us has just been going back to in-person events.
Mm.
We did a really fun one. We actually have a teammate who owns a bar of all things. But she did a bingo and beauty bubbles night where we had champagne and we all put our little collagen shots in it. And then she had like a little basket of all these little samples. And we were all at kind of her bar at these little tables. And she invited a ton of her friends she wanted to show her bar anyway. She had just acquired it, she just purchased it. And she had been an employee there for years. So it was fun to be able to be the owner. And then it rolled right into bingo at 8 on a Wednesday night. And you don't have to pay for bingo. And so we're just like having fun playing bingo, having great conversations. So what I always continue to say is I know that people still love tasting parties and the traditional presentations, but that has never really worked well with me. It did a little bit at the beginning, but I like to find things that are much more um kind of creative and adding value to people. So I am actually meeting a friend Thursday to plan. You're gonna laugh at, but I have a girl in our area, another entrepreneur who does color matching. Have you ever heard of that?
Hmm.
Where they put it on. So I was going to plan a color matching party. And then I have another friend who creates these beautiful like flower arrangements on top of wine bottles that you can give as like a hostess gift. So and she's also on my Isagenix team. So what I was thinking of doing is that people could either pay to get their color matched. And if we get enough people, we'll have her come, but then we could also learn a little craft. And then everyone there, the color match girl and this other girl both do Isagenix. So we can all share what we love. And what I find Isagenix is very saturated in my area. I mean, people have heard about it. It actually has an incredible reputation, but we have like 12 to 15 Isagenix millionaires in this
Millionaires.
little like pocket of town. And there's still new people coming, yes. But the one thing I can say is that Isagenix has a really good reputation. Like
Yeah.
people know that it works. So I'll get people like of the people that were at this beauty bingo whatever night had used Isagenix in the past and wanted to feel good again and re-signed up. So it was fun, but I think finding things that are exciting to you. I have some girls down in Southern California who are doing hikes along the beach and different hikes around San Diego. And then they hand out hydrate at the top, or often I'll bring a bar that people can split and try. What hiking does is it allows you to really talk to people. We have other people that have done, I have a friend in Virginia who's a lactation specialist. So she will do these events talking about nutrition for newborns and moms and kind of all that and always just weave it in. So I think it's really helping you think about what is exciting to you. What type of event would you like to go to? I remember we used to do like we as a team, we've done a Super Bowl party before where all like most of the food was incorporated Isagenix protein or hydrate or something in some way, shape, or form. But and then you just like if that's fun to you, great. And then you can incorporate it in this little pocket. But what I have found is that when people have fun and they're enjoying things, the side conversations are the most important. And that's why that's how it works. Is you can just kind of get to know people and find their pay points and ask them about their life. And uh, so that's what's been working well for us. We've kind of gotten away from virtual events. We don't really do those anymore. We find a lot of our networks are trying to get off virtual things as much as possible. I still think Zoom I'm actually was feeling like we should probably do an opportunity presentation through Zoom because I think that those can be powerful for people that are ready to hear about it. But
Yeah.
that That's kind of what's been working for us.
Yeah, and I would say that's the same thing for us. We've gotten back to, not that we ever really went away from in-person events, but I would say it was a little tricky for a few years there. So I think a lot of us are back into in-person events, but great ideas. And Susan on the call tonight was just telling me about a hike she had this weekend. So how funny you just brought that up. Okay, so in-person events are working, and I think we need to understand that things have changed. Social media, when you and I got started, that is all we needed was social media. I mean, it was just post a before and after picture and your inbox was flooded. And that just slowly started to change. So, not that we can't do that anymore. I think stories are really like what you were saying, kind of showcasing your day and putting your products in so people really know what you're doing is so important. But if you've deviated from in-person events, guys, or want to do something a little bit different, maybe entertain that idea. Lots of great ideas there. All right. So what advice can you give to people that are, these are my faithfuls that are here every single week wanting to grow their business. They are going to events, they're showing up. What advice can you give them to take their business to the next level?
I think one of the big things is look at the people you're attracting into your business. And if they're people that are like-minded and they're your dream prospects, then great. You're hitting it right on the head. Don't stop. Just keep going, be excited. But if because this is what's happened to some of us sometimes, start to attract kind of the whiners. I actually had a call with someone tonight who had to like cut a customer out because she was so negative. And I said, that's fine. Like you don't need to, just some of those negative Nellies that it's looking at kind of what are you attracting? What are you putting out to the world? Are you putting yourself around the right people? And then you can only grow your business as much as you grow yourself. So it's okay to have bad weeks and negative moments. But if you kind of stay in those, or you're cynical, or you're kind of in just this ugly place in your life, it's probably going to be pretty hard to grow your business and to attract the right people in. So it's looking at, okay, who am I attracting? Who am I surrounding myself with? Do I have at least 5 positive, motivated people in my life, whether they're in Isagenix or not? Like random friends, coworkers, people at church, sports moms, sports dads, other entrepreneurs. Like who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you getting that energy from anybody? Do you need to make a coffee date or a lunch date next week with someone that maybe could lift you up a little bit or inspire you? And then I would just say, what are you filling your brain with? The one thing I would caution you is I've seen so many people spend so much time and money on personal development and growth that they never kick it into action. So be very careful and mindful of that. I don't think you should be spending more than 30 minutes a day on anything growth, personal development related. I don't see a need to spend any more time than that. Um, and then it's like, what are you at least spending 30 minutes building your business in terms of contacting people, creating content, thinking of ways to touching base with customers? And yes, sometimes listening to trainings and things like that can help, but it's being very cautious about not overcommitting to the personal development world. Because I know sometimes we get on this journey, we're like, yes, like feed me, feed my brain. This feels so good. But if it doesn't change anything in your life, then it's, you know, that's
Yeah.
not the goal.
Yeah, action is the missing piece, I think, for so many. Last thing I'm going to ask you before we let you go for the night. What's one thing that's changed in your life because of Isagenix?
Oh my gosh, everything. um, Everything. I think the biggest thing was really lifting a ceiling. I was in a place of um I was raised by parents who were on reduced lunches. I think you have some similar money mindset things, Cindy, from knowing your story. Uh, my grandparents were very wealthy, but my parents were always struggling. And realizing some of the money narratives I was taught when I was little almost carried into adulthood in a detrimental way. And so breaking through those barriers on wealth and wealth creation and how I viewed money and how I spent money and I mean, it's still learning about it and still trying to get better. Having 5 kids and lots of expenses kind of just can get you swept up a little bit. But um, reading Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, I think that was hugely pivotal for me and my mindset with money. And that was something that changed and that has changed everything in order to allow me to even dream bigger and see bigger visions and to be able to give more, do more, experience more. I had to lift that ceiling for myself. So
Mhm. So it's just changed everything. Well, it's been beautiful to watch your journey. And I just thank you so much for showing up for us tonight. And
Oh,
I can't wait to see you at Celebration.
so
And
excited.
oh, and I'll continue to follow you guys. Follow her on social media and see what she does. Watch what she does because she does a great job really showcasing Isagenix in her life. And Laura, you're just such a sweetheart. I love you. Love to your
Love you
husband from us.
too.
It was
Thank
fun
you.
to see him and your daughter on the cruise also.
Oh, yes, I was so happy they got to go. I know that was special. It
Yeah.
was hard to miss, but I'm happy they got to have that time.
Oh, that is so great. But team, stay on so I can do a little bit of recognition with you. Thanks, Laura. Love you
Thank
to the
you.
moon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, just a couple quick announcements before I let you go. I hope you guys really took some great takeaways from Laura's story. She's just a class act. I wanted to do a little bit of recognition tonight. I want to congratulate Helena Mills for rank advancing a new consultant. So exciting. I only have her name as Jennifer. I don't know if Tiffany, you can fill in the gap with her last name. Do you know her last name? I see you nodding.
Oh,
That's
yeah. So it's Conroy Garcia. She put in both, like in different places. So I'm not sure what she actually goes by, but yes.
yeah. So in my reports, it came up Jennifer. I'm like, I should have done my homework and really found that. But thank you very much. So congratulations, Jennifer, for rank advancing to consultant and Helena for rank advancing her. And then I want to also applaud our top enrollers enrolling 2 or more last week. We'll start with Brianna Gillen, who just graduated with her master's degree. So congratulations, Bree. Nan Murphy also had 2, Lisa Maciel, Tiffany Keller, Pam Sherman, Jennifer. Oh, no, excuse me. Pam had 3. Jennifer had 3 as well, our new consultant. Lori Olson had 3. Dana Randazzo had 5. And Ann Baranti had 7. So congrats to all of you guys for your consistency enrolling 2 or more per week. That's outstanding. I also want to give you guys a reminder that Work It Call is tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you want to work together, if you have questions you need help with, please tune in to that. Links are in Team Synergy in the announced pinned posts at the top. If you want to join us in Kansas City, we just had a couple more team members that bought their tickets last week. So we're so excited to have that event with you. I'm going to post the link right now in the comments to check it out. But that is going to be a fabulous event. Michael Klaus was on the United Leader call today. And as soon as I get the recording, I'll share it in Team Synergy. He was outstanding. And him and Lynn are going to be in Kansas City. And then they're coming to do a small, intimate event with us in Louisville. And I am so excited for that because we are going to have them for Friday night and Saturday. Here is the link to that one. If you guys have any questions about the events, if you need any help in planning for this or strategizing how you can make this happen, please let me know. I'd love to see you there. And I want to end the call with one thing. Your action step for tonight is when I post this recording in Team Synergy, I'd like you guys to post in the comments what one thing has changed in your life because of Isagenix. It's okay if you have to do more than one, but please post it in the comments. I am going to do a drawing for a prize. I want to see all of you, even leaders. I want every one of you to pipe in there and share one thing that has changed in your life because of this amazing business. And for me, one of my favorite things is just all of you guys. I absolutely adore you. I love showing up for you every single week, and I'm so grateful for you. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week. Oh no, next week is Memorial Day. Next week is off. The next week we have David Woods, so stay tuned. That'll be a great call. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Cindy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Bye.
Love you guys.